Hey guys, my name's Chris and welcome back to another episode. My name's Chris. I said it twice, that was weird. Today I am talking about the 2021 remake of Wrong Turn. This one is directed by Mike P. Nelson. P, very important in there, and generally important to all things, you know, urine. This got weird. Similar setup to the original, in which you have a group of friends going into the Appalachians of Virginia, West Virginia, I believe it's West Virginia, and doing a little hiking. And when they get there, some hijinks ensue with some people who already live there. Now, I'm gonna get into spoilers because this movie's very different in a lot of ways from the original, and it's gonna be hard to talk about without spoiling some important details. So if you haven't seen it, you might wanna go check it out. I don't know if I'd recommend it, but we're gonna unpack this movie like we just got back from vacation and we're unzipping all of our toiletries and our clothes and putting them away. That's the worst part of a vacation, by the way. So, this movie is definitely different. In some ways, I like that fact. In other ways, I don't. This movie is way more bleak, gritty, darker in tone. It's not fun. It's a dark movie. But it has some good production values. It actually has like this ominous tone it kind of sets for most of the movie. And some good gore effects and a ridiculous storyline at times that doesn't always work for me. So like I said, the movie's about a bunch of like college-age kids who are going hiking. And they're all, I don't know, millennials or Gen Zs, I guess. And it's a little frustrating because this movie has way more depth to it than the original. Insofar as its storytelling goes, there's a bunch of twists and turns and it's just a bit more of a deeper story. And it's a long, like 2 hours long. So you're spending a lot of time with these characters, but their development doesn't really happen. And the characters themselves, while like in the original, are all one note. This movie has like a level of wokeness to it where, and I don't have a problem with that, except for the way that this subject matter is dealt with, where the characters are essentially just what they identify as, and they're in your face about it. They have no personality beyond that, which I would be okay with in just a slashery, dumb horror movie where they get murdered. But like I said, this story has way more depth to it than that, or at least it feels like it's trying to. So it's a little frustrating when the characters don't have any depth and we're real character arcs within that. I guess you could say the main character goes through this arc, although it's kind of unclear of like what it means. So the movie's like this. They're gonna remake Wrong Turn. Some dude starts writing it. He makes a wrong turn and ends up writing a Shyamalan movie. It's like The Village, but if you added gore and it riddled with plot holes. Not that The Village isn't riddled with plot holes as well. And they spend a lot of time developing this society out in ways that just leads to more and more questions for me. So what you end up then with is this group or this cult of bad guys who are a whole bunch of assholes, and then a bunch of kids going hiking who themselves are a whole bunch of assholes, and then they butt heads and you get this like rural versus urban social commentary layered on there, but without much to say about it except for the fact that like, oh, everybody's kind of an asshole and maybe that's the point. I don't know what they're getting at. Like a lot of times it make it seem like it's pretty clear that all these racist, awful cult people and people who live in West Virginia who are outwardly racist are bad. And I'm like, yeah, they are. That's pretty bad. But then when they get down to the cult stuff, they start layering on this nuance of like, well, we were never actually angry and you killed one of us and we're here and we're living off the land and we're not hurting anyone. And you're like, oh yeah, you guys are pretty good. But then they're like torturing and killing people and they're like, well, no, they're actually bad. And so then everybody's just bad. And then I'm like, but what about Matthew Modine? And then he comes in and I'm like, dude, you're looking pretty old. I don't know if you should be hiking up this fucking mountain. So it's a confusing movie. Not so much that I didn't understand it, just that like, what's the point? Maybe the message for me here in this is heavy, but confused. So I don't fucking know. And there's no way that this cult can just operate at the top of this mountain or around this mountain without the fucking US government knowing, okay? The government, you're gonna pay taxes, all right? That's just how it is. The fucking Amish pay taxes. you're gonna be paying taxes. And especially when this guy's coming into town and shit, wearing his nice button-up shirt like nothing ever happened. You're not just gonna go willy-nilly back up to your town up there and not be paying taxes and shit. They're not gonna just let you murder tons of people. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. They set up 1 million traps on these forests, and they're always held by like the smallest amount of twine that if you just like brush that a little bit, a fucking death trap's coming at your face. And I just don't understand how who's maintaining these traps? Because a fucking breeze is gonna set off these traps all the time, and you're on the woods, shit's falling, things are happening all the time. It's just not realistic, all right? It ruined the movie for me. I cannot believe that the traps were not realistic. And they constantly say like, these are animal traps. Why am I doing that? This is the first movie I've ever seen where there's an avalanche, but of a tree. It's like a tree-valanche. It just starts, this huge ass fucking like dinosaur times tree just starts rolling down this mountain. First I thought, oh, this is the people who live in the forest are doing this. But it never comes back up again, so I guess it was just some random happenstance that in the middle of a nice sunny day, the biggest tree you've ever seen in your life, it's clearly lopped off at the top and the bottom and is now rolling down this hill perfectly at you. Enough to smash the dude, which was cool when the dude got smashed. And it's just so convenient. And then like halfway through the movie, it feels like it's over, but then it switches over to Matthew Modine kind of being our central character. And there's this whole backstory family dynamic of the main character not wanting to call Matthew Modine's wife mom because they're like the same age, and it's just fucking weird, and I don't know why it's important. It's just, there's tons of tropes and shit in here of all these kind of movies you've seen. The secret society thing where they get taken to this secret place and you know there's going to be a little girl there who sort of befriends one of the main characters, because it happens in all of these kind of movies. There's so many scenes of just people standing there and all of a sudden a weapon comes flying off screen and kills them. Or the scenes of guys holding something up about to strike a character and then they get stabbed in the back. I don't know how many times that shit happens in this movie, but it happens a lot. So it's not terrible. Like I said, the production value and stuff's pretty good. There's some interesting nuggets. It's a way different take on the Wrong Turn movies because they do away with the whole cannibal thing, but it still has sort of a similar setup and premise. I don't know. I didn't really like it, but at least they tried something different, I'll say that. And with lines like, I can smell your juices. I guess that's good thing? If somebody ever said that to me, I would be like, okay. And then of course, just to put a capper on the end of this movie, during the credits, they throw in a nice bleak, little gloomy rendition of "This land was your land, this land was my land." Very poignant, beautiful. So yeah, it's not great, it's not terrible, it has its moments. The remake of Wrong Turn, I guess at least they did something different. So I don't know, if you've seen it, let me know what you think, and then I'll catch you here next time, guys. Goodbye. Hey guys, it's Chris. I know some of you already have a heads up over the others because you've already liked the video and subscribed to the channel. To me, it's like a no-brainer. Like, why wouldn't you do that? So like the video, subscribe to the channel, helps us out. Catch you here later, guys. Goodbye.